everyone, welcome to my channel. We are here today at number 1 Desolation Row because I've been wanting to play an apocalypse challenge in The Sims 2. If you don't know what that is, I have linked the extremely long list of rules in the description box, but in essence you play a Sims family as they attempt to rebuild society following a nuclear apocalypse. To emulate post-apocalyptic conditions, there is a list of literally hundreds of restrictions on what your Sims can't do, and each of these is thematically linked to a career. When a Sim from the family reaches the top of a career, they unlock all the associated restrictions. There are, I think, 28 careers in The Sims 2, so this will be a long challenge. So let's get started and meet my founder. This is Tony Trouble. He is suffering from a double nominative determinism. I wanted his last name to reflect the fact that he is living in an apocalypse, and my partner suggested Trouble. I think this makes him sound more like he's an Italian mob boss rather than apocalypse survivor, but it has grown on me quite a lot. I also decided I needed a naming theme for this family, so because I am apparently a 15-year-old boy, I went with superheroes because they are supposed to be rebuilding society after the disaster. So he is named after Tony Stark, and he is vaguely supposed to look a little bit like Tony Stark. Now, the challenge actually starts with your sim as a young adult at university. So I have played Tony through 4 years of university. I did film it, but nothing super interesting happened. So episode 1 is going to be starting with him in the main neighborhood as the challenge starts for real. The first thing I want to do with Tony is get him some more apocalypse appropriate outfits, which may technically be against the rules because I'm using a mod, but I spent a lot of time downloading custom content, so I'm going to use it. For his everyday outfit, I'm giving him this radiation suit so he can stay safe in the nuclear winter. For his outerwear, I'm giving him this amazing outfit, which is a Skyrim conversion. When I was downloading stuff for this challenge, I found there's quite a lot of overlap between CC that suits both an apocalyptic and a medieval style game. I'm adding him some accessories that I downloaded. You'll see them when we go into his body shop. There, I've given him some guns to keep him safe in this lawless society. I am generally anti-gun in real life, but the idea of a sim having them in The Sims 2 is just quite funny to me. Tony is a knowledge sim, mostly because I'm hoping he is going to roll lots of wants to gain skills, and that's going to be an easy way to get him in a good mood for work, so he can get those lovely promotions and unlock us some restrictions. From playing him at university, he does have quite a lot of skills already, and he did make a lot of family friends. I made a video of me building this lot. It is in a separate video on my channel, and before anyone tells me, I know I have broken a lot of restrictions in the building of this lot by adding terrain paints, fences, and some items outside that are technically outside the 8x8 area. But I wanted the lot to have the look of an abandoned home that he had just stumbled across, so I have broken some rules purely on aesthetic grounds. Okay, the newspaper delivery is here. I'm glad that's still running in the apocalypse. Now, as per the journalism restrictions, Sims are only allowed to take the first job that comes up in the newspaper, to emulate the fact that all the media companies have closed down. The only exception is for Sims that have gone to university, like Tony, who can choose any of the careers that are listed under their major. Tony was a psychology major for a very specific reason, and I am looking for a very specific career. Unfortunately, I have messed up the placement of this table and chair, so we won't be getting a job just yet. Okay, he's looking for a job standing up. Let's see what happens. Journalism is not a main priority. Oh my gosh, there's no way. That is the exact career that I wanted for Tony. Now, this is a bit of a hear me out because if you read the list of restrictions, the paranormal restrictions don't seem like they will be the worst ones, but I have played an apocalypse challenge before, and let me tell you, the inability to move graves by generation 3 or 4 becomes absolutely lethal. In my previous challenge, the ghosts almost wiped out my entire sim family by scaring them to death. So this sim, yes, this one here, playing with the paper aeroplane, His destiny in life is to become a cult leader so he can communicate with the Grim Reaper and allow us to move graves. So the first visitor to our lot is a cat. I did generate about 15 townies and a few strays. I would prefer him to make friends with another sim for his job, but we can hang out with the cat for a bit. I'm really pleased that this is the first sim to visit our lot, because if you watch my other videos setting up this neighborhood, you'll see that I created both myself and my real life partner and made us victims of nuclear radiation and turned us both into zombies. Let's see if Tony can indoctrinate my partner into his cult and also stop the cat from scratching my stuff up. I have remembered that as part of the rules, you're supposed to start your founder on the 5x5 empty lot, but I didn't because neither me nor my computer can really handle big lots. So I'm using the family fun cheat to give him just 100 simoleons to make up for him buying a cheaper home. Oh no. And literally that second, I managed to break another restriction because you can't feed pets treats under the culinary restrictions. So about 5 sim hours into the game, I've broken more rules than I've succeeded in, but never mind. This may be a long challenge. I'm sorry. Tony is gossiping here with the zombie about the cow mascots at university. You'll notice I used a plural there because I had a glitch while Tony was at university and the cow mascots kept spawning and I ended up with about 5 in total. Here I'm having him greet this randomly generated townie who is called Gwen. I'm just going to see if Tony has any feelings towards her. At university he was woohooing his professor and they actually have the same face template, the professor and this townie, so he could be quite into it. She is laughing at my decor though, which is pretty rude. There's limited artistic materials available in the Apocalypse, Gwen. So this blonde townie that's walked past is actually his ex-girlfriend from university. Just a few days before he graduated, he caught her cheating on him at the La Fiesta Tech Student Union. I'm just going to see if they can patch up their relationship. I didn't think young adult townies could be walkbys in the main neighborhood, so it's interesting that she's here. He is waving his gun in her face, so I'm not sure that's going to improve the relationship. Much like Tony Stark in the films, Tony is getting a lot of women coming to visit. I'm going to let him have a good time socializing because I don't think he's realized that he doesn't have a shower and he doesn't know that he is only allowed to eat once per Sims day. So I'm sure he will get more miserable. Speaking of food rationing, here's Tony making his first apocalypse meal of some hamburgers. This will be the first of about 20,000 because, as per the culinary restrictions, Sims can't have ovens. They can only have the cheapest grill, which you'll see I've put outside, hopefully to prevent fire. And by the way, as per the intelligence restrictions, you can't have any Sims from outside the household enter your home unless someone is friends with them. And so in order to not have to worry about tracking that, I've just locked the door. That's why all his visitors are sitting outside in the nuclear winter. Okay, someone's calling him. It's Patroclus. Patroclus just left, and Tony is telling them about how he slept with his professor at college. That is one way to make friends, I suppose. I think it's fitting that his first friend is a zombie, as he is entering the paranormal career. And by the way, Patroclus is not my partner's real name. It's supposed to be a cute joke based on Achilles and Patroclus in the Iliad because of my YouTube name. Okay, I'm telling everyone to go home because Tony needs to get some sleep. So Tony's woken up, and as per the medical restrictions, there is no clean running water, therefore no showers. So Tony is about to spend a third of his life washing his hands. Now, because I knew about this restriction beforehand, I have given Tony 10 neat points because I read that neater Sims gain more hygiene boosts from washing their hands, so Tony is a neat freak. And another third of his life will, of course, be spent skilling. The final third is going to be spent greeting random Sims that walk by because I think Paranormal has one of the highest family friend requirements. I think he needs 13 or 15 friends for his cult, so I am having him greet and talk to everyone that walks past. One of the effects of the apocalypse is that the phone networks are down, so Sims can only use the phone between 12 to midnight on Tuesdays. Okay, his friend from college claims to be Tony's boss's cousin. Not exactly sure who Tony's boss is in the paranormal career. I want to say the Grim Reaper, so we'll see about the validity of that. I'm going to invite his professor over. You can't invite just anyone over because the streets are too dangerous, but a sim who is in love will be brave enough to face the hordes of zombies to come and visit, so he can invite her. Mostly, I'm hoping he's going to roll some wants about flirting or interacting with her in any way, because to get promotions, your sim needs to be in a good mood, both needs-wise and aspiration-wise. Unfortunately, he seemed completely uninterested in her presence and has become obsessed with playing Marco Polo for some reason. Due to the scarcity of building materials, you are only allowed to buy 2 tiles from each category in build mode per day, so I think if Tony ever wants to have a second floor, I need to start that now. Okay, that guy really was the Grim Reaper's cousin, and Tony is now a tarot card reader. I imagine most Sims tarot cards are reading death, the Hanged Man, following the apocalypse. I don't actually know anything about tarot cards, so I apologise for the misinformed joke. In this episode, I am cutting quite a lot out because in this challenge, while it's very difficult, the initial stages are a bit boring because Sims can't really do anything. Like, it's not safe to go to community lots or go on dates. So most of the things I would normally do in the game, I can't do, so I'm cutting out a lot of footage that was just him washing his hands and chatting to people. I don't know if I would start a pillow fight with a man holding 2 guns. One of the rules of this challenge is that because Sims are experiencing a nuclear winter, you have to set all the seasons in the hood to winter, so it will be snowing a lot. Now, in my normal gameplay, I actually quite often turn winter off completely because I hate the visual and sound effects of snow. So unlocking the music restrictions so that we can change the seasons might be a higher priority than I thought, because 2 sim days in, I am already sick of snow. No promotion on his second day. I'm not really surprised because he's not rolling any fulfillable wants. I swear Sims are not normally this obsessed with ice skating. I don't know if he just wants what he can't have. I'm trying to remember to build the daily 2 walls, 2 floors, and 2 wallpapers so that maybe one day Tony's descendants will be able to go upstairs. I spent a long time choosing this wallpaper because as you can only buy 2 per day, it would take a long time to re-wallpaper an entire room, so I took this decision very seriously. While talking to this teenager, he finally rolled a 1 for something I can actually do. He's decided he would like to learn anger management. He's probably not going to do it in time for work, so it might be a bit pointless, but I will try. Okay, it turns out that having unmanaged anger can be a useful career move because he's been promoted to hypnotist. Of course, when he woke up, that nice anger management want had gone away and it's been replaced by a want to go swimming. Tony obviously hasn't realised that all the water has been contaminated, so we will just endlessly wash our hands until it's time for work again. He didn't get much time off between those 2 shifts. I guess there are no trade unions for hypnotists? Oh no, part of the slacker restrictions is that you can't ignore chance cards. Oh, but I actually picked a good option and he's got a free promotion. He's also brought home a friend, and it's that townie Gwen that he met on his first day. Oh, she's trying to network with me. That is not happening. They seem to be getting on very well. We're still only interested in the cow mascot gossip. I guess nothing interesting has happened since then. Tony has also invented a new game. Goodbye Red Hands, hello Red Guns. There's been a whole nuclear apocalypse and all Tony can talk about is the time a cow set off a sprinkler in his dormitory. Perhaps Tony Trouble is not the most interesting sim ever. Girls got moves. My Sims aren't allowed to dance as per the dance career restrictions, would you believe it? But I can't control what she does. I'm going to let him have a little flirt because he will need to make some babies. In my normal game, I do play with same-sex pregnancy mods on, so most of my Sims are bi. So this heteronormativity is a bit strange to me, but the rules for same-sex pregnancy mods in the Apocalypse Challenge confused me a bit. So I just took the mod out and we're going for the traditional nuclear family option. That was a little nuclear apocalypse pun for you. I don't know if you're getting that on other Sims channels. I have unlocked the door to let her in the house since they're friends. She is actually allowed in. Don't read anything into him seductively lying on the bed. He's actually really shy because I spent all his personality points on neatness and activity. He's very unlike movie Tony Stark in that way. These two are really bonding over this 10-year-old cow mascot drama, and she seems pretty chill with him waving his gun in her face. Love in the Apocalypse is sharing your meager food rations. They can't store leftovers under the culinary restrictions, by the way. That's why I'm letting all the food sit and rot. It is a waste, but since you can only prepare food once per sim day, it makes sense to me that they make a group meal rather than a single serving. I'm sending Gwen home so Tony can go to sleep because he must have work at some point. I don't actually know what time mediums go to work, but we will find out. Ooh, look at that. I want to earn a skill. Looks like Tony has remembered that he's a knowledge sim and has been all along. Hopefully today we can get him in a much better mood. That's one down and another want to gain a skill immediately. We're on a roll. He's got a girlfriend, he's fulfilling wants, and he's off to work in a good mood for the first time ever. Look at that! It worked. He's now a dowser, so he's heading straight for the bathroom to check the quality of the water. Actually, I need him to fix that broken sink or he's going to be living in green stink lines forever, and it is not radiation poisoning. Okay, I'm in a good mood with Tony. He has finally realised he's never going to play Marco Polo and is rolling me some nice skilling wants, as a knowledge sim should. I guess because studying cleaning is giving him nature enthusiasm, he's also got into bird watching. Maybe he's looking for three-headed, mutated, irradiated birds. Well, actually, he's looking for family friends, but I am wondering if snowstorms decrease the chance of townies walking by? Okay, having said that, someone came. She's braved the storm to come and meet Tony. Oh no! I forgot to lock the door after Gwen came over. You are not my family friend. Get out of my house. That's unfortunate. I don't really know how to get a sim outside once they've come in. I guess he could go outside and call her over, but I didn't think of that, so I just sent her home. Okay, as part of the criminal restrictions, you have to pay the mob protection money every week. So this is me doing that with a family funds cheat. I will warn you now that I am constantly going to forget to do this. I can already tell. As part of this, for complicated reasons, you can also sell and rebuy the fridge because your Sims have no other way of getting food. There's no grocery delivery in the apocalypse and the soil is too contaminated to grow anything. We have a platinum mood, everyone, for the first time since moving here. I believe a platinum mood is essentially a guaranteed promotion if they meet the other requirements, so hopefully it stays until his carpool gets here. Okay, the platinum mood left us as quickly as it came, unfortunately. I just realised how ridiculous the house looks when you build a second story bit by bit, but we're about functionality, not form, in this apocalypse challenge. Okay, Tony's back and he's now a police psychic. Don't ask how that works, since the police force does not exist anymore. I guess he's freelance. He's doing quite well with these promotions now that he's realised he is not going ice skating, so hopefully he won't be a freelance psychic for long. There was not a lot of time in between those shifts, but I did manage to get him a skill point in that time, which made him platinum again, so hopefully that's another promotion. I was right. He's a UFO investigator, so I guess he's realised that police aren't actually functioning. And it's Tuesday, so it's time to call everyone we know because we're getting closer to forming this cult. He can't actually invite anyone over, so I suppose this is more of a virtual cult, if you will. A Facebook MLM style cult, perhaps? Did you hear that cheer? He's very happy for someone living in an apocalypse, but he does get to clean all day, which he enjoys because he's so neat. Who knew there were so many good times to be had in the apocalypse? Maybe he's just really excited to go and investigate UFOs. I am not good at remembering to build 2 tiles a day, so this second story is going to take even longer than it was already going to, but I have faith that Tony's children will one day live in a 2-story house. Right, Tony is off to work in a platinum mood, so I'm hoping he's going to reach level 9 today. Oh, Patroclus is here to see him. They're best friends forever, so maybe they want to get in on the Facebook MLM. Perfect. Tony has reached level 9 and he's now an exorcist. Level 9! I imagine he's going to be in quite high demand, as I'm sure an apocalypse makes for plenty of angry spirits. The job titles in the paranormal career are some of my favourites in this game because they're so silly. The outfits, on the other hand, leave a lot to be desired. I don't know what Maxis was thinking with this exorcist outfit or why he's going to work in the same car that the social worker has. The gap between those shifts was only about 6 hours, and he needs quite a few skills to reach level 10 and become a cult leader, which I didn't realise, so we're going to have to work on that when he gets home. Okay, he's home, and I think he needs to be careful that he doesn't anger the spirits more with his stinkiness. And this outfit is something else. How has he taken his hair off for work? We need to get him cleaned up and then get him some cooking and cleaning skill points. Luckily, he gains cleaning skill points really fast because he's so neat. But don't ask me why a cult leader needs to be good at cooking. Maybe the cult provides on-site catering. But that's what Tony is going to be doing for the next few hours before his shift. He just needs a couple more, and isn't this the picture of domestic apocalyptic bliss? A bit of hand washing later, and this is the final skill he needs to get to level 10. He's not in the best mood, but he has got really into bird watching, so that's an easy want to fulfill. I don't know what he's doing here. He can't see the birds over the fence or something? I think this woman said no to joining his MLM, but we are going to send him to work anyway. He's got the skills, but he is not in the best mood, certainly not in the best outfit, so let's see what happens when he gets home. There's no way. There's no way. I don't know how he did that because he was not in a great mood, but oh my gosh. Well done, Tony. This deserves a special commemorative moment. Let me read you the quote from the rules about what he's achieved. Once a sim from the household heads up a cult, they begin to perform rituals to calm down the angry spirits. With the spirits of the dead calmed, the Reaper can take a much-needed vacation and is more willing to bargain with Sims upon his return. The paranormal restrictions are lifted. So from now on until the end of this challenge, Sims can now plead with the Grim Reaper, which I think is going to be very useful once we have a big family and still only one meal a day. We can move graves and urns, and that includes selling them and placing them into inventories. That is the part I am most excited about because the ghost in my last challenge nearly killed the entire family. Also, very importantly, now that we have reached the top of one career, we have shown Sim Society that the worst is over, and we can now get Tony married and start making the next generation. That concludes episode 1. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry it wasn't the most exciting, but next episode, Tony will be moving on to the next stage of the challenge, and I promise you that once children are involved, the Apocalypse Challenge becomes a whole nother beast, so I hope you will join me for episode 2. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.